everybody. I'm Jennifer Tryon. Welcome back to the 2024 Homemade Block of the Month Club, where we're doing the Barn Star sampler, and I nearly flew my little pieces right off the table here with the wind from this book. I'm loving this book. In fact, I was just flipping through, and again, while we're waiting to come on here, admiring all of the other so beautiful quilts you can be making with patterns from this book. And yes, we're doing the front sampler, which, okay, king of all kings. But you know what? Gorgeous when you're repeating some of the blocks that are in the sampler, whether it's a full quilt or a table runner, like this one, which is like a sort of a sampler table runner, or even doing something like just expanding on look at this one, some of the bigger blocks. I look at, so sweet and, you know, dainty. And you know what? It's just one of the blocks that's in the book. This is the one I'm destined to do next. It's just it's like one of the first blocks we made with a bunch of extra of the corner units. And I just think this is just such a gorgeous wall hanging in your front hallway or upstairs or wherever you'd want to hang this. Isn't that so nice? So I'm determined to finish this one up because I think that's going to look so beautiful. But today we are on to block number 12. That's incredible. And this one is just so cute. It's the little Ohio Star. And isn't she just a little beauty? I love it so much. We're now at the point of the quilt where we're making 3 identical blocks. So I've got 2 made. I'm going to make the last Ohio Star with you here. But I'd encourage you to make all 3 at once, the way we've been doing, chain piecing, because that's going to make quicker work out of it than making them one at a time. And it's quicker for me, so you don't have to watch me, you know, chain piece all of the pieces to just do the one step, and then you are going to repeat it over and over as you make yours. So we do still have books available if you want to use your own fabric and make a barn star or any of these. We can put a link in the comments and just pick right up where we are. All the videos stay posted in the video section of this Facebook page, so you can scroll down and watch block 1, 2, and all the way up. And we'll be assembling it soon enough. So let's get going on block 12, the Ohio Star. This is an 8 by 8 inch block, and she's so cute. And we are making 3, like I said. But I also wanted to point out, whenever there's funny cutting, that we are cutting triangles from the coral print. And just to remind you, I actually already had all of the fabrics on my swatch sheet for this one, so I didn't have to glue anything on, but just check yours to see if there's any swatches you should be gluing on. And just to take note, from the coral print, from the 3.5 by 3.5 inch triangles of the sea fabric, they're going to be cut crossways so that you end up with these triangles, because we're going to be making, we're going to be sewing them back together in a different order. So we're going to take our 2A triangles here, and a B triangle and a C triangle, and we're going to put them back together like this. So we really do want to make sure that we are sewing these on the correct seam. So we're going to split them in half. I can take the stickers off, but it's easy to mess up which seam to sew them on. So we want to go right sides together, and we want to make sure that we're sewing on the seam that we folded over on. So if we end up sewing here, it's not going to fit correctly. So we're going to sew right along that seam. And this can get tricky when you're chain piecing them, because it's, you know, each angle looks the same. But it does make a difference in the end which side you sew it on. So just be careful there. And then for this one, we're going to go right sides together. I'll take the stickers off too. And right sides together. And we're sewing right along here. And we don't want to mess that one up either, or we won't have sewn on the right side. And yes, I did have to pick one of those out on the other blocks. So I'm just saying. Okay. You will do all of 12 of yours. And so you may as well just go ahead and do them one after the next, but just be careful that you're sewing on the right seam. And we are pressing in both instances towards the blue. So let's just open it up first to make sure that we've sewn the correct seam, because we want that little bow tie, that little blue bow tie in the middle. And I'm going to go ahead and press towards the blue, even though my iron's off now. It's always just, 1 second away from being hot. I always leave it on. There we go. And then we're going to bring these back together and nest these seams. So one side's going to butt up against the other. You're going to kind of give it that little pinch where you can feel it nested the whole, and try to feel it nested the whole way down. This is going to prevent it from just being nested up here, and you're going to have a better angle if it's nested the whole way down. And then put a pin. And then we're going to sew right along that edge, down the center, 1/4 inch. Don't run over your pin. And this should measure 2.5 by 2.5. Look at that cute little bow tie block. The seams here, it doesn't say which way it should press now. So I've pressed it open just in the center here. So I'm going to do that. Press it open. And this does need to measure 2.5 by 2.5. So I've got that little 2.5 by 2.5 inch square ruler. And I'm just going to make sure that it's, in this case, because it's not a half square triangle, I do want to make sure the center dot of the ruler is in the center where the lines go, and then I can do my trimming. Now, I do not recommend cutting towards you like that, but I've done this so much that I trust myself. But if you're new, spin your block around. And there, hi, so cute. Love it. All right, so you'll have a bunch of those, 12 if, in fact, that you will sew and trim. And then you will add piece D to. And you want to make sure you're adding this D piece right beside its pink counterpart. So right sides together. And you may as well do this all at the same time on all 12, and you'll have that. And you're going to press towards the pink. Okay? There we go. Okay. And this is a pretty easy one once you've got all those done, because our F square makes up the middle. We don't have to do any sort of square in the square, which I love. I like that it's just a plain old square. That gets us done this block in no time. So let's lay it out, because we've got all of these little unit pieces that need to be paired up with the bigger E squares here. So You can see I've got one done here. We'll lay it out. We've got our middle piece, okay? And then we've got these pieces that, and this way, turn here, okay? And then, so let's go, and you can do this with all three of yours at once. Right sides together, right sides together, right sides together, and then we can bring them to the machine and sew them one at a time, but chain piece. This little one, I have to say, is like one of my favorites so far. Simple, cute. I could see doing a whole big thing of just this little guy. Okay, let's lay it out again. We won't bring it to the iron quite yet. We're still going to go now right sides together here. And then it'll be right sides together here and right sides together here. And we'll sew that 1/4 inch seam. Okay, lay it out again. And then let's pay special attention to which way the pattern is telling us to press our seams. So you'll notice the little arrows here are saying out towards the corner blocks, in towards the middle, out towards the corner blocks. So we're going to go out, in, and then out again. That way we can nest those seams. So out and out, in, out. I always mess up with the ironing the seams in the right direction. Like, it's one of the #1 things I mess up on, amongst all the other #1 things I mess up on. That's pretty high up there in the #1 category. Okay. Now we can nest those seams, right sides together, and find your counterpart here and slide that right together. And you can give it a little pin once it's there. And 1/4 inch seam. Okay. I'll lay it back out, and we're going to press up. That's the way the arrows are saying, going up. And then we're going to nest this way. So I'll nest the seams again. You know, and as I'm sewing this one, I can't help but think about our first couple of blocks that were 2-3 hours in the making, right? Just stick with it and enjoy whichever one you're on and the process, and take your time and have fun as you go. And it won't matter whether it's a quick and easy one like this or one of the mammoth ones at the beginning. They're all a beautiful part of this sampler quilt. Look at that, so cute. You know, I'm just a sucker for the colors here too, and the, you know, the vintagey prints, and so cute. All right, I'm pressing away from the middle, and this block should measure, it says 8.5 by 8.5, even though I said at the beginning 8 by 8, that's the finished block. Because we still have the seam allowance on here. So we're going to make sure we have 8.5. So I have a little probably that can get trimmed here, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5. Nice. We do have a little bit of trimming. I like that. So trim here. And make sure we're 8.5 again. I want to make sure we're kind of trimming off evenly on both sides. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5. Yeah, always just count. You know, if we're talking about the number one things we mess up on, counting, cutting, ironing, they're all top tier, okay? All the mistakes are easy to make. So it doesn't hurt to just recount if you have to. Recount, rethread, so that you don't have to re-sew and recut. Wise words. This blade has a little nick, I think. Always with a fresh blade. I just put a fresh blade on a rotary cutter downstairs, and oh, I felt like $1,000,000. Sometimes we just don't realize how dull our blades are, and then suddenly you change it, and it's like, huh, I should have done that about 6 months ago. Okay. Tell me if you've seen anything cuter today. Unless it was like a grandbaby or your own sweet baby, I'm going to bet it's this little block. And then this one, and then this one. Aren't those just so cute? Our little Ohio stars. Love it. Love it. All right, we're motoring. We'll see you next week. Month. You got lots of time. Don't worry. I'm getting ahead of myself. All right, thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.